have a random chat with you all. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the e.l.f. Skin Sun Touchable Sunscreen SPF 30. I'm basically using this as a primer rather than a sunscreen. There is pretty much no sun today, and I'm actually not going out after this anyway, or I haven't planned to. This feels to me kind of like one of those silicone primers. So if you like kind of the Smashbox one or something like that, it has that kind of how would you describe it? Just like slippy feel, I guess. And I know a lot of people enjoy the grippy primers now, but as I don't really have oily skin or anything, I kind of like the idea of this, filling in all the cracks with like some polyfiller type thing, I think that's pretty good. Okay, so I'm gonna give that a minute. The only other makeup I have on my face is I did put my eyebrows and a little bit of mascara on this morning just so I didn't scare anybody at the gym and I didn't scare any of my students. So this eyebrow has faded. I've probably been touching it and not really noticed. This one seems to be okay, but all I really want them to be at the moment is a guideline. So I'm going to leave those as they are, and I'm going to do an eye base just while that primer is sinking into my face now. Probably going to go for some kind of tinted moisturizer later. Let's switch up my eyeshadow base today. I bought, where is it? Got this a few weeks ago. This is like the Lakura Cashmere Glow Luminous Concealer in shade 1. I actually think this might be a bit too light for me. I can't remember. There's something wrong with it anyway. So I'm just going to put a dot on each eyelid, roughly the same amount, and blend that out. And then I will set it with some sort of setting powder to make sure that it doesn't move. The usual brush that I've been using for blending in any eye primers lately is this one. If you've been watching me for a while, I used to use this for very precise contour, but these days my contour is a little bit more slapdash than that. I'm sure I'll go back to my precision at some point, but sometimes you just like mixing things up, using different brushes for different things. And I'm just going to use that now to give a fairly smooth application all over, right up to the eyebrow, and that gives a lifted brow look as well. So again, same thing, that's the Lakura Luminous Concealer. It says luminous. I don't really see any luminosity, but I will give it its dues. The shade is really freaking pale. It looks a little bit reverse panda under my eyes at times, but maybe it'll be better in like the depths of winter. I did get a small bit of color on my face while we were in Poland, not on purpose or anything. I was wearing my SPF 50 every single day, so it just kind of happens sometimes. Right, so that's a fairly even layer. I am going to set that in place now. Oh, what is keeping my drawer stuck? Never mind. I have got the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder in the shade 05 Fair. I had to buy this on Amazon. It's still not available here in the UK to purchase. I know they've brought out a set of loose powders. I think they're like different colors or something, but they're not the same as the one that's available in the US. I had to pay £15 for this, which I think is nearly double the actual cost of it in the US, which is a little bit annoying, but I have to say it's so fucking worth it. It's just as good as the Huda one that I normally use, if not a little bit better. It has the most smoothing effect on your skin that I've ever seen. But I have to say a very good second place if you're looking for a drugstore option would be the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Loose Setting Powder, the pink one. It doesn't really come out as pink on your skin. You don't really have to be too careful with it. Funnily enough, the Catrice one tends to look more pink on me than this does. So I really like that one as well. So I'm kind of getting to a point now in my life where I don't think there's anything high end that's really worth it anymore. Most of my favorite MAC products have been discontinued anyway. And the drugstore options just tend to be better or as good, if nothing else. Right, so now that I've done that, I'm going to choose a palette from my vast collection and see if we can do some sort of autumnal or fall makeup look, or fall inspired at least. My goodness, I have an awful lot of stuff in here. And I think I'm going to go for the Natasha Denona Warm palette. I think that's going to be perfect for this kind of transition now into fall. So this, although it does say it's a warm palette, is not as warm as some of her other palettes. For example, it's nowhere near as warm as the Bronze palette. So this, here it is, this is what it looks like, is absolutely gorgeous, but you don't have to be super, super warm toned yourself or be into like crazy orange eyeshadows. It's nothing like Naked Heat or anything like that. I do have a few personal gripes with this palette. I think there's a lot of tones that are similar. There's no highlight shade for me. None of them are light enough. They're all kind of like lid colors. Or crease colors, and there's like no very, very dark color either. So it's a lot of mid tones and a lot of sort of I guess lid colors, but then it's not really showing up in the pan here. This one has like a really beautiful green reflect as well. So we do have some beautiful shades to choose from. It's got some of her really nice sort of cream to powder finishes. That one's cream to powder, definitely. Might be one more. And then you've got these like really metallic foil ones, and then some of her lovely smooth creamy mattes as well. So tons to choose from. Again, that's the Natasha Denona I Need a Warm palette. So I'm going to start with this. I haven't used it in absolutely ages. I definitely didn't use it as much as I thought I would in the last year or so. And when I bought it, I want to say I got it like February last year. So there are tons and tons of beautiful shades in here. I'm going to start by putting kind of a base set of colors down in my crease. I'm going to start with this middle shade here, which is called Mellow, okay? So let's pop this down here. Just using a Real Techniques blending brush. And that's just a sort of a soft orange, nothing too neon, nothing too crazy. And I'm bringing that up within about 1 centimeter of my brow. Tell me what your favorite Natasha Denona palette is. I want to know. Do I need to add a few more to my collection? I've got I Need a Warm. I've got the Glam palette. I've got the Face palette. What was this called? I've got the Hypernatural Face palette. I've got the Biba palette. I've got the Safari palette, which is now discontinued. God, I've got more of these than I thought I did, you know. So what other Natasha Denona palettes do I actually need? What one is your favorite? What kind of eyeshadows do you choose to wear? I think the Xenon palette is actually really beautiful, but I don't know how much use I'd get out of it on an everyday basis. There's another one that's just coming out as well, the I Need a Cool palette, but it's very similar to some other palettes that she's released when I've looked at the actual swatches. I'm not saying I wouldn't know if I'd use it or not. I probably would use it, but I just don't know if there's enough of a difference to justify buying a, like, you know, 60 odd pounds palette. So, or if you're not into Natasha Denona, what other eyeshadow brands do you like? I was looking at Sydney Grace recently, actually. That's one of those indie brands that seems to have really good quality products. A lot of people like their eyeshadows, and they do have some really beautiful color stories. Right, so that's Mellow. If you wanted something slightly darker, you could go for Ripe. They are very, very similar, I would say. You don't really need both of these in the pan, I would say, or in the palette. I'm now going to take the shade Soft Spot. I'm going to use a different brush. I'm going to go for this Urban Decay one. Slightly more tapered, but still I would classify this as a blending brush. And then I'm just taking that into the inner crease. Again, I'm just setting these down at the moment. I'm not really, there is no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing at the moment. I'm just setting up a crease. So do you remember back in the day of 2016 makeup when we all used to do transition shades? It's a little bit like that, except I'm setting up my crease to have enough depth that anything that I put on the eyelid is going to stand out. So it's almost like setting up your contrast, really, because I always tend to go deeper in the crease. If I'm not, you know, doing a smoky eye, this is typically what I'll do. I'll do a light crease color, a darker crease color, then I'll have an eyelid color, and then I might put something in the outer V if I want something a little bit more dramatic. These shadows just blend so, so easily. The mattes are so, so soft and buttery. Like, I'm not tugging at my eye. I'm just softly blending. I've put a little bit too much possibly on this eye, or maybe I just need to blend it out with the brush that I used Mellow for. So again, just super softly. It's almost like tickling your eye. Blending is tickling, really. You're just barely touching it. I find the more you press and tug, that doesn't allow the eyeshadow to move naturally around the space. And I'm just kind of doing little tiny concentric circles. A little bit more Mellow here, just bringing that right up, because I think some of it might have been blended away almost. Super soft formula, these Natasha Denona ones. This is the Natasha Denona Warm palette, if you've just joined me. This was released, oh, a good maybe 18 months ago. Still available. It's a permanent eyeshadow palette. So if you do like the look of it, you can get it. I'm kind of trying to make a decision now about which lid color to use, because I've got the basis of a solid crease there now. So there's going to be a good contrast between whatever I put on the lid. I'm looking at the shade Dynamism. I'm looking at Snug, I'm looking at Push, I'm looking at Fancy. They're just gorgeous. But because I want to do something kind of warm and autumnal, I'm going to use the shade Push, and I'm going to use my finger, actually, my center finger, middle finger. Middle finger sounds weirdly rude. Okay, so the shade Push, I'm going to press that on. And just because these sort of foil texture, I find that pressing them onto the eyelid with your finger, just gently pushing that on, not too hard, is going to make the shade the most vibrant. Can also use a brush as well, but this is just my own personal preference to really get the best out of the shine. So that's like a warm pale copper, maybe, or a pale orange. Definitely getting a bit more of a fall vibe now. So because my undertone is neutral leaning cool, I can still wear warm colors. Anybody can wear warm colors if they really want to. You just don't want to like go over the top with it, I guess, and have everything warm. So you could have like warm eyes, but then the rest of your face could be neutral or something like that. Some people really like to mix warm shades and cool shades together. That can work too. It's really about what makes you feel best. I don't really believe in like color seasons and all this stuff, and you can only wear the colors that are for your season or whatever. And people spend so much money on these like analysts and stuff. I mean, if you want to, that's fine, but you can also just wear what you like. I think people want to be told what to do too much sometimes. I only have one Natasha Denona palette and I always forget about it. I should really use it because the shades are gorgeous. Do you know which one you have? I'm interested to know now. My absolute favorite ever is Biba. I'll show you that one. I believe it's still available, but it is a bigger palette, and these are more expensive than the medium-sized palettes she releases now. So I'll just show you the difference. This is Biba. So this is the first one I got, and this is I Need a Warm. So there is a significant difference in size. I think it's the same number of pans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 15 in the Biba palette. I might as well just show you what it looks like. Ooh, mine's a bit creaky. Phenomenal palette. The only thing you might ever need, really. That's 15, and yeah, this one's 15 as well, but the pan size is smaller. I haven't worked out like the difference in grams or anything like that, but to be honest, I would be shocked if I ever managed to completely use up an entire Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not a working makeup artist, obviously. Right, so that is just a bit of a comparison there. If you only wanted to buy one, this would be quite a good one if you really like warm shades. This is the warm palette. If you prefer cool shades, I would personally recommend the Glam palette, because that has some really nice colors in it as well, and it has plenty of smoky colors if that's your thing. Right, I am going to get a pencil brush of some description. I tend to use my Sigma one most of the time. I don't know why I do that. It's like I don't want to dirty a new pencil brush, because once you put black on a white pencil brush, it's never going to be the same. Like, look at this one. I think I've used it once and I didn't use black, and I just don't want to stain it forever because this one's just permanently stained. Okay, this actually has a little bit of red on it, so I'm going to wipe that off. Because if you follow me on Instagram, you can see that I did quite a dramatic look the other day. So most of that there now is off. So what am I going to do in the crease? I think I'm going to use a little bit of this shade called Pep. I think this is the darkest one in the palette. It's very similar to Flashover, but Flashover is this cream to powder formula, which is a bit softer, and this is a slightly warmer shade. So overall, I think this appears cooler. It's still not really cool. It's more neutral, I would say. If you were looking for something similar, you could go for maybe like MAC Embark. So ooh, I've put quite a lot of that on. I forgot how pigmented that shadow is. And then I'm kind of making that V shape. And I'll pull that up a little bit just to lift my eye. Okay, so now I'm going to replicate that on the other side before I do any blending. Is it weird that I kind of just like talking to myself on these videos? I don't know. Sometimes you just fancy a chat, and even if no one replies to you, it doesn't really matter. So I've been smashing it in the gym the last couple of weeks and I've lost a little bit of weight, not a whole lot, but I'm getting there. It crept up gradually throughout this year and now I want it to creep back down, which is a bit weird because I've ended up at a heavier weight during the summer, which was definitely not my intention. I wasn't really planning to gain back any weight, but you know, shit happens, I guess. So I'm working on it now. I've got it in hand. I wouldn't say I'm doing low carb. I think I'm doing like moderate carb, I would say. So I'm trying not to have like bread and stuff like that. I'm basically eating a lot of eggs. So my breakfast is typically eggs and lean rashers or bacon. But like I'll have as many eggs as I want. If I'm hungry, I'm going to eat 3 eggs. Um, and then for lunch, I'm typically having something like turkey burgers. The Sainsbury's ones are really good, actually, if you've got a Sainsbury's near you, but I'm sure Tesco and other places do them as well. Now, all I'm going to do with this is I'm going to go back using the same brushes that I used for the previous shades. So I might take a tiny bit more of the shade Soft Spot, which was this one, just to help me blend out the edges of Pep. And then I'll go back in with a tiny bit more of Mellow, which is the one I started with, just to get that really nice gradient. If you're not that bothered, you don't have to be this detailed and precise. You wouldn't necessarily need 3 different shades in your crease, but I've got the time, I thought I might as well. Plus, I kind of want to showcase all the beautiful colors in this palette. But yeah, I've been really enjoying the gym. Diet's going well. My dinner still tends to be vegetarian because I eat with my husband and he's vegetarian, but there are so many good like substitutes now, whether it's like corn or plant menu, you know, the Aldi one. There's so many good companies doing lots of different meat substitutes that are still high in protein. So I don't feel like I can't hit my protein target for the day. I'm not massively into like protein shakes or whatever. I think I've still got some protein powder that's probably in danger of going off, a little bit left to use up. So I think, yeah, I did have a protein smoothie earlier, but it was more of a fruit smoothie with added protein, if that makes sense. It was just like milk, water, a ton of frozen fruit because I need to get some fiber in. Fiber is very important for diet and digestion. And then I topped it up with some vegan protein powder. I don't have any problems digesting protein powder, especially the vegan ones. They seem to be, you know, pretty good for my tummy. But I know some people have problems with the whey ones. But I feel like everything, it's protein powders have come a long way. Like they're a lot more sophisticated now than they used to be, and they don't give you as many side effects. Is anyone here taking any protein powders or anything? Or is anyone watching their weight? Is anyone on a fitness kick? Has anyone got any cool aspirations or anything they want to do? I know a lot of people do running around this time of year because the weather's starting to cool down. Okay, so a little bit now of Mellow, mainly because I still want to keep that orange tint going up towards my eyebrow. It keeps seeming to fade, but I think that's more me not applying enough product and blending it away a little bit too much, but they're just so soft. I'm probably going to revisit this and like reblend it 50,000 times anyway. Not because of the eyeshadow, again, just because of me. Right, so taking that middle shade again. I think this brush isn't the best, this Urban Decay one. Again, it's probably 1,000 years old. There's probably people watching this that are younger than this eyeshadow brush, but you know, such is life. It's a bit of a relic. I can't even remember what palette this came with. It's not written on it. The writing has long since worn off. Okay, so that's a basic eye at the moment. This will all start coming together when I do under the eye, etc. I'm going to use a brown liquid liner and then I'm going to decide what I want to do lash-wise, inner corner-wise, all of that kind of good stuff. So let's look for a brown liquid eyeliner. I have a feeling that this is in my everyday makeup bag that I took out with me recently. Yes, here it is. So this is the Essence eyeliner pen, extra long lasting, and it's in 020 brown. That's it. It's just called brown. Okay. It is a felt tip. So if you don't like felt tips, this is not going to be the one for you. It is quite fine, and I generally don't have any problems with it. I would say it's a dark brown if you were going to describe it, because if you watched my haul video when I did a big Catrice and Essence haul, oh, maybe a month or two ago now, I got a brown eyeliner from Catrice as well, but it was like, it was too light. Like it didn't look like eyeliner in my opinion. And also it just didn't work very well. So the main problem with it, it was just a bit too dry and you couldn't really see it. It was also one of those kind of chubby marker pens, and I like quite a fine line because I need all the help I can get to make the line as thin as possible. And when your eyes are starting to droop, they're not necessarily hooded, but you know, my brow isn't where it used to be, let me just say that. You do need quite a fine pen to help you get the eyeliner where you want it to go. So thick and chunky pens look better, or that style of eyeliner I think looks better on younger people. Then there's probably someone out there that's going to prove me wrong in the comments now and be like, no, I wear this all the time. My thick black eyeliner looks amazing on me. Well, I'm happy for you, but my eyelids, they be sagging. Yeah, it's got to the point now where I have to stop talking. I'm going to put another layer of that on because that eyeshadow is so glittery and shimmery. You can still see some of it through the eyeliner. I'm also aware that it's not quite even, but do remember that my eyelids aren't even either. So this eyelid is larger than this eyelid, or at least the visible mobile part of the eyelid is larger. If anyone can hear a bell, that's because Pearl is here. She came to say hello, didn't you? Well, I've had 2 different cats bite me today. Now, I think they were love bites, but still. It's a bit weird when you're petting a cat and it decides to bite you. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a warm brown. This is Max Costa Riche. This isn't a very popular product, I don't think. It is quite a reddish brown. That might be why. But because my eyes are sort of on the blue hazel or kind of greenish side, I find it does help to highlight my eye color. I wouldn't say that's the most flattering eyeliner in the world, but we're going to put something over it. So it'll just act as sort of a reddish base. I'm then using the same pencil brush that I used Pep with. So that'll darken it up a bit and mute somewhat the red tones. I think Pearl has the zoomies. She is very cute. Okay. So all I'm doing is smudging that down, and I like to go just to where my lower eyelid naturally creases, because you then have to use less concealer. It also makes your eye look a little bit bigger, a little bit wider, a little bit more open, and you can sort of pull it out as well to meet the eyeliner, and everything looks a little bit more cohesive and put together. Okay, so I will put a shadow over that, but I think I'll wait until I've done like my base makeup. Okay. So this is looking all right. It's not looking great. It's not looking polished, but we'll do all the tidying up after I've done my foundation. So I say foundation, I might actually use a tinted moisturizer. I haven't made my decision yet. So I've been thinking about, you know, basically giving up high-end makeup. It's not that I don't think high-end makeup is good. Hi! High-end makeup can be really good, but I'm just finding there are so few products now that can't be matched by what's available in the high street. So I do still have some high-end makeup that I really like, namely, you know, things like my Shiseido Revital Essence, my MAC Face and Body Foundation. I do really like the House Labs. I do really like the Fenty Beauty Skin Tint. But if they disappeared, I'd probably be okay. And it would probably push me to try other products as well. Now, I have a whole host of products that I'm looking at here, and I'm trying to think what will I actually use today. I'm going to use this Hourglass one. So this is the Hourglass Illusion Luminous Glow Foundation SPF 30, and it is in shade number 1. Now, when this arrived, I was so like beyond excited. I managed to get finally an Hourglass foundation in my shade from Vinted, okay? I'm only going to use a small amount, okay? It is a foundation rather than a skin tint. And I'm going to apply it with a sponge. So same old sort of sponge that I always use. Yes, it is dirty. You know what? I just mentioned indie makeup earlier. Oh my God, you also got your Shiseido Revital Essence. Sorry, I'm so excited by all these comments now. Fantastic. So yes, indie brands. So Sydney Grace is one I want to try for eyeshadow, but I have so many eyeshadows that I just can't really justify it right now. But yes, what other indie brands do you like for eyeshadow? Tell me how your Shiseido is wearing on your skin. I find it wears really well, and you can kind of wear it as a skin tint or as a foundation. When I got my husband to do my makeup as a bit of a laugh, he put 6 pumps of that stuff on my face and it somehow still looked good. If you're wondering why everything is shaking and there's so much noise, there's a crazy cat running around. Okay, so this is the Hourglass. And like, don't get me wrong, it's nice. But is it life-changing? No. Could you get something the same from Maybelline, if not better? Yes. So yeah, while the Shiseido remains like top tier, there are so many foundations like this one that I'm using now that are what, 40 plus pounds, and it's like, yeah, they're nice, but that's about it. I could probably get one just as good for like $11.99 or even on a 3 for 2 when they do that at Superdrug or Boots, you know? Oh, Cosmic Brushes. I have one palette from them and it's absolutely phenomenal. It's my favorite purples palette and it is the best quality purple eyeshadow by far that I have ever used. I really want to get some of their other ones. I just, you know, haven't yet. I kind of hope that they're going to do like a sale soon. I've never tried Lethal Cosmetics. Actually, I've heard the name, but I just haven't used them. Right, I might need a little bit more of that foundation on my nose. But I do notice with this foundation, if I put too much on, it's not a good look. So I'm just going to put a little bit more of this Hourglass foundation on here. And again, like, I mean, yeah, it's okay. Like, but for something that is really high-end luxury expensive, it should look better than this, in my opinion, you know? And you know, I've got pretty decently clear skin. It is dry, but that's why I got a luminous foundation. I don't think this is that luminous personally. I don't think this is wow. I don't think this is worth being 4 or 5 times as much as a drugstore foundation when it comes to cost. And like, let's face it, we're going into a bloody recession. We all know what's going to happen, you know. The undertone as well, it's a little bit yellow for me. I mean, the tone is correct in terms of the depth of the shade, but it's slightly yellow. It doesn't have that lovely beigeness that the Shiseido has. So yeah, exactly. Like the e.l.f. Halo Glow, it actually does look better on me. You're absolutely right. Now the e.l.f. Halo Glow is I think £18. So that is kind of top end of drugstore prices, but you know, that's the way it is. Yeah, you're totally right about skin prep. I actually did my skin prep earlier. So I had done all of my moisturizer, etc. after I had a shower this morning. And at the very beginning of this video, I put on my skin prep. So that was a while ago. We're 27 minutes in now. So skin prep absolutely makes a big difference. However, some products just perform better than others. Maybe it's my skin. There could be someone that's going to come along and say, nope, the Hourglass is the best foundation I've ever used. Just depends. You know what I mean? Okay, so ooh, Medicube. I keep seeing this brand. Are they one of these Korean brands now or like Asian brands that everybody's into? They seem to have really good reviews. 4 hours. You have to send me a picture of your skin after that. I want to see how glowy you are. But yeah, I mean, when I hear the word luminous, there's a bit of a sheen here and a bit of a sheen here, but like I'm not thinking I look luminous. To me means incredibly dewy. I don't think this is luminous or glowing from within or anything. Plus it's a little bit yellow. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to get some concealer on. So I'm going to use, I'm going to go for the Catrice one actually. This is the Catrice True Skin High Cover Concealer in the shade 001 Neutral Swan. I'm really sad that they discontinues. I don't even know what I'm saying now. This is the concealer, but they did discontinue the foundation, which made me really sad because it was a really good foundation. Okay, so I'm just applying this all around. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do before I blend that in, I'm desperate to blend it in, but I don't want to screw things up, is I'm going to take my Huda Easy Bake setting spray. Is this a nice setting spray? Yes. Is it any better than a drugstore one? No. Choking myself. So you may have noticed that I've sprayed that now before I have blended the concealer in, okay? There is method to my madness. I saw a lady, I think she was in her 50s, it just came up as a reel on my Instagram, and she said that if you spray like before, during, and after, concealer basically, or as many times as you can in the process, you will get a smoother look and it will not sink into lines because you will be so bloody hydrated there will be no lines. So this is what we're aiming for, hydration. Everything looks better after a spray. I totally agree with you. But you know, when you're paying a shit ton for a foundation, like if I'd gone into Selfridges now and bought that foundation full price, I'd be disappointed. I would. Okay, so again, blendy, blendy, blendy. I've got a little bit of fallout from under my eyes there, but it's all good. So while I've got you guys here, I was going to film a couple of videos this week. Famous last words. I wanted to film something about autumn or fall makeup, as they call it in the States. So I wanted to do like palettes and lip colors and blush colors and combinations and stuff, and like how makeup gets a little bit heavier sometimes. And, you know, we're still using our SPF, but we need different kinds of moisturizers, and, you know, just basically how our looks kind of adapt and change as the weather changes. Because I can feel the change in the weather already. I felt it a couple of days ago and I was like, oh my God, it's going to be autumn soon. Right. I'm going to shut up for a second. I'm going to do another spritz. That was me knocking about 3 items off my countertop. Never mind. Okay, so before, during, and after, that's during. I'm then going to powder, and then I'm going to set that powder with more spray again. Is this laborious? Hell yes. Is it going to look fantastic? I hope so. Right, so just getting one of these little triangular velour puffs, smashing that into some of this Maybelline Fit Me Loose powder, dabbing some off on my palm. And would you look at that for smoothness? Oh my God, I was born yesterday. Look at these baby under eyes. Same thing on the other side, smushing it into the puff, tapping it off my hand. And I'm a smooth operator. Okay, I need to get out now after that. Okay, we're gonna do a final spritz because although it looks good now, I don't fucking trust it. So, I mean, considering how I've abused this, it has lasted quite a long time. I don't think a whole lot comes out with one spray, so yeah. Right, so that's how we're looking. I am 35, so I think that's a pretty good result. I definitely look 35 when I don't have hydrated under eyes and use a drying concealer, etc. So we have to take the wins when we can find them. Now, let me go over this eyeliner because the eyeshadow underneath it is still showing through a little bit just because the eyeshadow is so sparkly. This is the Essence liner in brown, which is a lovely dark brown, and it's a felt tip. I don't normally like felt tips, but this one doesn't seem to dry out too much. 35 is the new 25. Thank you very much. It's not too bad. It still doesn't really look longer, but it feels thicker. So I'm hoping now in another year, it'll actually, you know, reach my fucking shoulders. I measured the regrowth from like where the dye stops. My hair has grown 4 inches, but doesn't look much longer due to like basically breakage and curling, I guess. But the quality of the curls and the quality of my hair overall is so much better. Like we've got proper thick fat ringlets under here. And it is a little bit more voluminous. I still wish I had more volume, but look, beggars can't be choosers. Right, so this is looking quite nice so far. Oh, hang on, I have one straight wing and one curvy wing. This looks a little bit odd. I swear I didn't fart. I just leaned on my drawer and it made a bit of a groaning sound. It's had a long Monday. I understand. I get it. I feel its pain. Right, so back in with a pencil brush just to kind of emphasize where the crease is again. Didn't add any more product. It's just some of those little micro shimmers from the shade Push have transferred up a little bit. Doesn't really matter, but you know, sometimes the perfectionist in you just wants to tidy everything up. And again, I will go back in with a clean blending brush later. Now, bear with me on this. I've been doing something strange, but it's worked lately. I have been filling in the tail of my eyebrow with this Essence brown eyeliner, okay? But it looks great. And again, I've just been tracing the shape. I start with the NYX Lift and Snatch that I have a love-hate toxic relationship with. And then I fill in just the end, so beyond the arch with this. And it's just banging. Look at it. Obviously, I'll fix this now because this was put on at like 7 o'clock this morning. Right, other side. More of this is faded, so this will be, there will be a greater contrast, but bear with me. Because this isn't a warm brown, it works. I'll shut up now or I'm going to fuck it up. Would you look at that? Like, come on. Come on. Like goth brows for days. That's the vibe it gives me. You know, when people were filling in just like a thin line of liquid liner. Obviously, I've never had that style of brow, but I do have thin eyebrows anyway. So that's what it reminds me of, just like, just a little line, you know? Okay, so I'm going to go back to the toxic one, and I'm just going to use that to fill in where the two meet. I have a tiny gap there. I'm sure you already spotted it because everything shows up way clearer on camera when you screw something up. Yeah, again, this is so annoying. The product doesn't go where you want it to go and it goes somewhere else. And then all of a sudden you'll just get a big blob. Right, that's okay. And like this one is more faded, but then I feel like if I do too much, it's going to look way stronger than the other brow. Like, should I stop now? The temptation is strong. Maybe one more little tiny bit there. Okay, fuck it. I'm leaving it here now because I don't think I'm going to get better than that. They're never going to be the same, okay? I just had that song from Mel C come into my head, Never Be the Same Again. That was banger. I really wish there was like some sort of early 2000s disco that I could go to. I know Satan's Hollow, which is the rock and metal club in Manchester, is now doing over 30s events during the daytime. I think it starts at like 3 or 4 and ends at 9, and it sells out every time. I cannot wait to get tickets for the one in October because I'm old and I want to be in bed by 11. Okay, so the next thing we are doing, I'm just going to take a Q-tip because there's one or two little teeny tiny glitters that have fallen down. Okay, I actually don't think I need any carving of eyebrows. I think they're pretty good. Yes, you have to come down and visit. You can come and stay with me. That would be awesome. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take, this is where Hourglass are going to, you know, redeem themselves. This is Ethereal Light Finishing Powder. Now, when I bought this, it was really expensive. It was £38. I believe it's close to 50 now. So shit's been getting more expensive, right? Okay, so this is the powder you use when there's something wrong, but you don't know what it is. Or maybe you do, but there's something wrong and you fucked something up, but you put this on and it just somehow saves the day. So I just felt there was something weird going on, like right here under the area of the concealer. So that has somehow now made everything look a bit more cohesive. Okay, now I did say I was going to use an eyeshadow under my eye as well. So let's pick one out from this fantastic palette. I am tempted to use this shade Phenomena. So it is a kind of reddish color, but with a green reflect that has decided not to show up on camera. Okay, so we'll start with a bit of that. I might change my mind and do something slightly different in the very outer corner, but we'll see. I'm just going to take the pencil brush. Oh, she be rusty. She be rusty. Yeah, so I'm going to put a little bit of that there. So that's kind of like, I would say 2/3 of what's already there. And then I'm just going to put a tiny bit of flash over, which is the creamed powder, right in the outer edge, just so I don't have like red connecting to the liner pretty much. So it just makes the whole thing a lot warmer. Need a tiny bit more under this eye, I think. Oh yeah. Oh, this is a very crumbly shade, but it's pretty wow. Oh, maybe you are getting a little bit of the reflect there. Not sure. Let me know. Charlotte Tilbury and me just don't really get on. The only thing I really like is the Pillow Talk lipstick in Fair, but I think the majority of her products are like vastly overrated. Okay. So the pressed finishing powder, I haven't tried that one. I have heard good things about it, but again, I wouldn't be paying full price for it. I'm glad it's working for you. Do you find it gives a more matte look, or is it a bit more of a candlelit glow? Like, what kind of finishing powder do you think it is? Aha, excellent, vintage bargains. Thank you. I'm really glad you think it's autumnal. I will put something in the inner corner, but I don't think there's anything really that would work from this palette, which is, again, a little bit of an annoyance. The only one that would be potentially light enough is this one, but I've tried it before and it isn't. So that's a little bit disappointing that you can't use this palette completely alone. You do need to use something else with it if you want a proper highlight shade. Just as a bonus, by the way, when we're speaking about vintage bargains, I got Vex eyeshadow from MAC for like £5. Like, if anyone remembers the shade Vex, it's this incredible duochrome shade, seeing as we're on like duochromes today. Right, I still feel like I need to maybe warm up a little bit the rest of my face. Now, I'm not going to say I'm going to go as far as bronzing, because we don't do those kind of things around here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a contour shade and I'm going to place it almost between where a contour and a bronzer would go. What would you call that? Brontour? I'm sure somebody called fucking Brontour a trend. So this poor thing is on its last legs. This is a MAC Face Palette, Sculpt and Shape Contour Palette. Emphasize, Cream, Accentuate, Taupe, Sculpt, and Bone Beige. So obviously Taupe, Sculpt, and Bone Beige are the ones at the bottom. I'm just going to take a bit of a mix of the three of them, and I'm going to use that with a bigger brush, like this bronzer style one that I use for the finishing powder. Again, I'm just like smacking all three of them together, tapping off a bit of excess, and I'm kind of sweeping it along my cheekbone. So I'm still sort of contouring. The shades are a little bit warmer, and because the brush is bigger, I'm getting more of a diffused finish. So there's a little bit of warmth. It'll look warmer now when I get to the 5 head. The reason that this is panning is probably because most of it's always gone on my 5 head. So, but rather than being like really strategic with my placement, I'm kind of just dumping it down, and it looks like I've sort of maybe been in the sun tiny bit. I mean, I have, it's not a complete lie, but I was wearing my SPF 50. Okay. And again, you can't really put too much on the forehead. I don't think I've ever said that someone has too much on their forehead. You definitely can't put too much on my forehead. As long as you keep blending it, it should be okay. You just need to make sure that like up here is the darkest bit. So I'm going to be a bit more precise. I've just squashed the brush to make it more dense for when I'm putting product right into the hairline. Look at that technique, brush squashing. I mean, where would you be without me? The things you learn here. Oh, I've got that one. I would say you can get it for less than that. I got mine for less than that. So offer them less and see. Depends how badly they want to sell it. That does come up periodically. So I wouldn't be like upset if it sells out. It will come up again. But again, I guess it's down to yourself. Like, how much do you want it? Yeah, look, this is looking a lot warmer now. Okay. I still wouldn't call it bronzer because it's in sort of contour-ish placement. But because the brush is so big, a little bit has kind of swept into those other areas as well. Okay. Again, I always think it looks like I have more product on one side of my face than the other. And then when I look in the mirror, they're pretty even. Tiny bit more here, maybe. Right, okay. If you go too low down, which I sometimes do, all I do is take the sponge that I applied my foundation with, don't put any more product on, just sweep up. No bronzer is meant to go below your natural cheekbone anyway, really. I mean, you could put some there, but I don't think it's very flattering. Okay, there's something really magical about these powders as well. So if you didn't have the Hourglass finishing powder, this one will do the same thing for you. This one is called Emphasize. Does anyone remember the MAC D² collection? They had Bone Beige and Emphasize in a compact. It was like half and half, so like a highlighter and a contour in one, but they were both kind of matte satiny shades. Right, okay. So I realized that I forgot to put mascara on. Now I do have one coat of mascara on already, but I need another one. So here we have, this is just the Essence Lash Without Limits. It's kind of a lengthening mascara. I'm really glad you remember that collection. It's not just me. I used the shit out of that. I used that entire compact up. I used to use it as eyeshadow. I used to use it as contour, even though it was a bit too warm for me. The highlight wasn't really a highlight for me. It wasn't light enough, but it was a really good face powder. I still think the singular ones that I have in that palette are better quality though. I think the kind of split pan is always a bit weird. But it was a great way to try them out. Like, I'm sure I saw one of them on Vinted, like at some point, maybe last year. And I was like, oh my God, memories. Okay, so it's really annoying because whenever I film one of these videos in the evening and everyone finishes work because they all have regular hours and I don't, that's when everyone starts messaging me. So at least 3 or 4 people now have messaged me since I started filming, and no one messages me during the day because people are at work. Right. Why is it always when you're actually doing something that someone will message you and ask you a question or whatever? It's never when you're just sitting there doing fuck all. Right, so that now has really thickened up the look of my lashes. Despite the plastic brush, this can clump a little bit, but it's fairly easy to comb out the clumps unless you're talking like me and start fucking it up. Okay, so I've recently been trying to put the most mascara on my outer edge lashes rather than in the middle. I think I had a bad habit of putting it in the middle because I was trying to get these to look, I guess, more curled. But actually, if I want my eyes to look bigger or at least longer, I need to pull it out this way. Right, I'm going to use the e.l.f. lash extender on my lower lashes. I can't even remember the last time I used MAC Giga Black Lash. This seems to have overtaken it. It's definitely a little bit more dramatic than the MAC Giga Black, but I think you have better control with the MAC Giga Black Lash. Decisions, eh? That's another one that comes up all the time in Vinted, is the MAC Giga Black Lash. So if you're looking for a killer bottom lash mascara, that's the one. Or you just need a really good lengthening mascara in general. Doesn't flake, doesn't smudge. I can't really remember the last time a mascara flaked on me. I haven't really had that problem before. Maybe it's something to do with people's lashes. I don't know. I say that now and it's gonna fucking happen tomorrow, today or tomorrow. Right, so this is how we're looking so far. All right, so again, the temptation to put on falsies is strong. If I was going to a gig or something, I probably would. Okay, so I don't have too much left to do. There's a particular blush that I want to use. I just need to find it. It's not that one. I am still thinking about doing a MAC blush collection video, which is actually utterly pointless because MAC have changed all their blushes now. So even if they weren't discontinued, you wouldn't be able to get them. Right, this I got on Vinted. This is Rhapsody in 2 from the Mineralized Blush collection that came out in 2009. I got this bad boy. I'm eventually going to try and collect all of them. I have 2 now. The other one I have is Love Rock. The one that I want the most is called Moon River, and I've never, ever, 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 ever seen it. Okay, so this is what I'm going to go for. Okay, it's like, I would say a warm pink shot through with a gold. I don't even know if this is going to work. I haven't really used it yet. I've almost been too afraid to. I'm like, I don't know if this will suit me, but it's so beautiful, I have to have it. Okay. I don't even know what brush to use. I'm like, oh fuck, what am I doing? Right, MAC 168. Tappy tappy. Generally, it's hard to overdo the mineralized blushes. I'm just going to shut up now. More subtle than I expected. I'll put a bit more on. It's coming out quite highlightery, I won't lie. I do think you can see it more in person. It looks very similar to things like By Candlelight Mineralized Skin Finish and oh, what's the other one? Like the blonde and the redhead ones from the blonde brunette redhead collection. I would say if you have those, you don't need this. I mean, fucking good luck finding it anyway. But I'm still glad that I have it. It kind of more just looks sparkly than anything. But this isn't really a blush look. I still think that's gorgeous. Really nice. I wouldn't say I'm disappointed with the pigment because I always think that my blush doesn't show up as strong on camera anyway. In real life, this is about the right amount of blush, and I don't want to look clownish just to get the camera to pick it up, okay? Plus, we're kind of losing daylight rapidly now. It is 6 o'clock. Plus it's been a very, very cloudy UK day. Okay, the last thing I need to do so is lips. I'm spitting everywhere today. I don't know what's going on. Okay. I've been using a lot of Whirl lip liner lately. I'm not really sure why. I had it for years and years and didn't ever really use it. And then I started picking it up and I was like, oh, this goes with loads of things. Where is it now? If I could find it, yeah, that would be great. Yes, here it is. So this is Whirl. I'll give you a little swatch. I haven't fucking swatched anything today, have I? And I'm finally swatching the last, probably least important product. I have this thing where I want all of my lip liners to be really sharp when I use them. So I'm probably wasting shitloads of product, but I'm getting a really nice, sharp, crisp line. Or at least trying anyway. Oh, I know. The rain is coming. Like, I'm looking at these ominous rain clouds. They're just fucking waiting there. Oh, that was good in one swipe. Watch me fuck up the other side now. Okay, so I didn't fuck it up, but one is more rounded than the other. I never know how people blend lip liner and make it look so good. I spend enough time blending eyeshadow and now you're telling me I have to blend lip liner? Fucking hell. I do think it can make or break a look though, to be fair. Like, if you've got this stunning eyeshadow look and then you just slap a fucking lipstick on it, it looks a bit haphazard, like. Now, I always tend to overline my lips ever so slightly, and there's a few different like schools of thought about it. I think you have your natural lip line, and then you have this sort of very faint outer lip line. All I do is go along the outer one. And then I've just gone slightly beyond that. You can actually see now that my lip line at the bottom is crooked, but I have followed my natural lip line. So what I'm going to have to do is go slightly further out on this side. So I'm going beyond my natural lip line to make both sides look symmetrical. You never notice these things, and then you start making YouTube videos. If I had loads of people watching, I'm sure they'd probably point out all my other abnormalities and strange things. And wow, your forehead's really big. And wow, do you ever think about getting a rhinoplasty? But you know, maybe it's a blessing in disguise that I've never become that popular. Okay, we need an autumnal lip color. There's a few that are catching my eye. So one of them is Bow and Arrow from Kat Von T, but this is quite cool. So possibly not, but that is going to be in my autumnal video for sure. The other one is from Black Moon Cosmetics and it's Grave. Really stunning, but I feel like that might steal the show a little bit and I did want to focus on the eyes. Again, a perfect color though. There's a few other options in here, don't worry. I also have... I mean, a fall color doesn't necessarily have to be a warm color. It can just be like a deeper color. There was one I had in mind because I don't think I've fucking worn this the whole time I've had it. And this is the Hourglass lipstick in Sahara. This came in the Space NK Advent calendar last year. And I think I tried it on and then never used it again. It's like a warm terracotta red. Should we give this a go and see what it looks like? Because I know I've put Whirl on, but that was really just to kind of make my lips look a little bit bigger. So we'll give it a try. Plus, I definitely don't have a matching lip liner for this. This reminds me of Lisa Eldridge Cinnabar, which again is going to be in that autumnal lipsticks video. That is a burnt umber and it's stunning. Right, let's try Sahara. I'm going to shut up now. Super creamy. Whirl is a good bit cooler than it, so I'm having to go right to the edge to make sure it doesn't look funny. There you go. It's a little bit shinier than I thought it would be. Like the Lisa Eldridge Cinnabar is definitely not shiny. I don't know if I love it, but I definitely don't hate it. And I think it does go with the look. I'm just really not used to this color on me. I also think if I had a lip liner that was maybe like slightly darker than it, it could be quite a cool vampy sort of a lipstick, like a dark orange vampy shade. Is it really red? Um, it's almost like an orangey brown, but yeah, I'm actually feeling it. Right, and because I know you all love this, shall we just spritz my face with more of this crap? Right. I make the sexiest faces. Right, I think that's going to be it. I am going to film that autumn video. The only other videos I was thinking about doing were potentially a tutorial, but you know, they don't really go to plan. And then an empties video, but I can kind of do that whenever. It is getting kind of late now. It's gone 6 o'clock, so I've been on for nearly an hour, which is the typical. I do really like how everything turned out, but I have nowhere to go, sadly. The only thing I will be doing is reheating a veggie curry with tikka tempeh pieces in it, I think it is. And yeah, probably watching a few episodes of House of the Dragon. I'm only on season 2 though, because I think we were watching season 2 and then I don't know why we stopped watching it, but we stopped watching it fucking a couple of years ago, like whenever it came out. So I'm really shit at remembering what's happened in series. So I'm kind of having to like rewatch it and go, oh yeah. Whereas my husband's very much like, yeah, do you not remember that? And I'm like, no. So I'm doing this so that I can watch season 3. Right, I'm gonna close all my drawers. Yeah, they are very full of stuff I don't need but enjoy, because that's what life is really about. Isn't that what being an adult with no children is all about? Like just, you know, buying yourself all the toys that you want as an adult that you can now afford. What is it? I just have no memory. Like, I'm glad it's not just me as well. I'm just trying to make some semblance of order here, putting things back. But yeah, this hourglass lipstick is nice. The problem is I don't think it's an everyday color, and that's why they put it in the advent calendar. So if you like it, you can probably get it for like a $5 on Vinted. Like just put in hourglass lipstick and it'll probably come up. It's not one of those thin cigarette ones, like it is just a normal standard bullet. But it is a beautiful lipstick. Like the formula feels very soft on the lips, glossy, creamy. It is a little bit shiny. I'm not crazy on dark shiny lipsticks. I prefer it more with like nudes and pinks, but I still think it's really nice. Right, I am gonna go and get a cup of tea. I think I'm really, really thirsty now. That's the only problem with having like rashers and bacon and stuff for breakfast is you're just fucking thirsty all day. But hey, at least I'm getting my protein in, getting my water in. The weight is slowly, slowly, slowly coming down. Been hitting the gym 4 days a week. So yeah, it's all going in the right direction. I would like to be at my goal weight maybe by Christmas. So I think I have about ugh, 6 or 7 kilos to go, which is quite a lot. It's about a stone. So yeah, it's so easy to put it on and it's so fucking difficult to get it off. I did think, would anyone be interested if I can get the nerve and the gumption to film it in a what I eat in a day on a calorie deficit sort of video? Like again, it's not really low carb, it's not keto, it's not Atkins or anything, but it's like moderate carb. So I don't eat any carbs for breakfast or for lunch. I might have a small portion of rice with my dinner, but I'm not that fussed. I might actually just do cauliflower rice. I've been doing courgette when we've done like corn bolognese and stuff, and that's been grand. Like I have no problem with that. I really don't miss bread or potatoes or pasta or any of that shit. And like all my bloating is gone. I have kind of missed sweet things, but I have like treated myself a small bit. So like at the weekend, I had like 2 scoops of chocolate ice cream because I was able to fit it into my calories, you know? Oh, you need to tell me how to make the best cauliflower mash because I have no idea how to do that. And I know you're like the queen of keto, so that would be really, really helpful. Or anything else that's like super low carb. I know that's not why you're doing it, but there's obviously a big overlap with the two. So yeah, I think I've probably been rabbiting on now for long enough, and there's two very faithful people that have been watching my video. Thank you so much. But yeah, would anyone be interested in potentially a what I eat in the day type thing? This is not going to be fancy. I don't have beautiful plates. I fuck up my fried eggs a lot of the time and they burst, or I burn shit, but at least you're actually seeing this is what I'm eating. This is real. And it's not going to be aesthetic, but there will be cats probably involved because they tend to eat the fat off the bacon, and Hazel likes the egg yolk. So at least you'll have that to look forward to. But hey, if it bombs, it doesn't really matter. Most of my videos get very few views and then randomly can get more like 6 months later. So there is no rhyme or reason to it. I've realized now with the changes in YouTube, with you needing 8,000 watch hours accumulated in whatever period of time and 1,000 subscribers, I'm never going to get monetized. So I am purely doing this just for fun. And that's not a problem for me. I would like to do it more often. And I think I probably will. My medication change and everything has been quite successful, and every day I'm feeling a bit better, and I'm having fewer crap mornings, if that makes sense. Yes, you're exactly right. Make the videos you want to, not for anyone else. Fuck it. Should we leave it on that note? I like that ending now. Fuck it. Great. I will see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.